There is a strange and quiet moment in every person's life when they realize something almost unbelievable. They look at themselves in the mirror and suddenly notice that the version of themselves they see doesn't fully belong to them anymore. Their voice is softer than it used to be. Their hobbies are different. Their dreams feel fuzzy. Even their personality seems slightly rearranged. And the reason is simple. They fell in love, and somewhere in the middle of that beautiful emotional hurricane, they misplaced themselves. Maybe this has happened to you too. You meet someone, you feel that warm spark in your chest, and before you know it, you are rearranging your entire inner world around them. You start watching the movies they like even if you never cared about them. You adjust your schedule to match theirs. You become so attuned to their emotions that sometimes you can feel their mood without a single word said. Love feels magical, and in many ways it truly is. But there is a thin line between loving someone deeply and dissolving into them. Today, I want to explore why this happens, why you lose yourself in love, why you forget who you are, why you shrink when someone else becomes the center of your world, and more importantly, how you can love without disappearing. Let's begin with the psychological truth that sits at the core of this entire pattern. Most people do not lose themselves in love because the love is too strong. They lose themselves because their sense of self is too flexible, too fragile, or too undefined. When your inner identity isn't rooted, you naturally lean into the person who feels safer, stronger, or more stable than you. They become the anchor you wish you had inside yourself. Think about it like this. When you are unsure of who you are, anyone with a strong emotional gravity becomes a planet, and you become the moon that orbits them. You start revolving around their voice, their opinions, their emotions, their desires. Their approval becomes your oxygen. Their happiness becomes your mission. And their attention becomes your favorite drug. It feels good at first. It feels comforting. It feels like belonging. And honestly, it feels like home. That's the trick. When you never had a stable emotional home inside yourself, someone loving you feels like the closest thing to safety you've ever touched. So you hold on tightly. Too tightly. So tightly that your own identity starts slipping from your fingers. This is what we call identity merging. It often comes from anxious attachment or from a childhood where love meant pleasing, adapting, and shrinking in order to be accepted. If you grew up in a home where your needs were ignored or where love was conditional, your nervous system learned a survival rule. To be loved, you must become whatever the other person needs. And so, as an adult, when you love someone, your body goes into old patterns. You become hyper-attuned to their emotions. You seek their approval before making decisions. You abandon your own preferences so the connection stays safe. You don't want conflict because conflict feels like danger. You don't want to disappoint them because disappointment feels like rejection. And you slowly, quietly, unconsciously trade authenticity for belonging. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone named Emma. When she's single, she paints, she journals, she goes to yoga, she spends afternoons drinking coffee in bookstores. She has a rich inner world. But then she meets someone she cares deeply about. And in the beginning, it's beautiful. But gradually, her routine starts shifting toward them. She cancels yoga to spend more time with them. She stops painting because the relationship consumes her emotional energy. She begins checking their mood before expressing her needs. She starts worrying about whether she's too much or not enough. One day she wakes up and realizes that she hasn't painted in 4 months. She hasn't meditated in weeks. She hasn't done anything just for herself in what feels like forever. And she doesn't know how to come back to herself without feeling guilty. Because she built a world where her identity depends on the relationship staying peaceful. This is what losing yourself in love looks like. But here's the mystical truth under all this. You don't lose yourself because you're weak. You lose yourself because you're wired for connection. Humans are born with nervous systems that tune to the people they emotionally depend on. This means love is not just an emotion. It is a gravitational force. And when someone becomes your emotional center, your inner compass begins to point toward them, sometimes instead of you. But the good news is that you can bring yourself back, because you are not actually lost. You are simply hiding beneath layers of adaptation. So how do you return to yourself after losing yourself in love? Let's explore that gently. The first thing you need to understand is that losing yourself doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean you love incorrectly. And it doesn't mean you're broken. It simply means that no one taught you how to hold on to yourself while holding someone else's hand. Most people never learn this. Most families don't model it. Most relationships don't practice it, so it's not your fault. But now you have the awareness. And awareness is the key that unlocks your way back home. The first step is learning to notice the moments where you shrink. When you avoid expressing a need. When you silence an opinion. When you ignore a feeling. When you agree to something you don't want. When you change yourself so the other person stays comfortable. Each of these moments is a tiny act of self-abandonment. And healing begins by noticing them without shame. The second step is reconnecting with your inner preferences. What do you actually like? What do you genuinely enjoy? What feels like you? Many people have no idea because they've spent years adapting to others. The way back is through small experiments. Try the hobby you abandoned. Revisit the music you used to love. Spend time alone. Go to the places that used to feel like you. Let your inner voice speak again. The third step is learning to hold your needs with softness instead of guilt. You are allowed to want things. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to disagree. You are allowed to disappoint someone without destroying the relationship. Healthy love does not break when you show who you are. It becomes stronger. The fourth step is energetic. You need to rebuild your inner anchor. When your sense of identity grows stronger, love becomes freedom instead of fusion. You start choosing the relationship instead of clinging to it. You start loving from abundance instead of fear. You remain yourself while loving them deeply. Let's talk for a moment about spiritual identity. Many people think their identity is their personality, but it goes deeper. Your identity is your essence, the part of you that exists even when no one is looking. It is your inner truth. And relationships are meant to reflect that essence, not replace it. When you lose yourself in love, it is usually because you accidentally made the relationship your source of identity. You used it as the mirror that tells you who you are. But a healthy relationship is not a mirror. It is a window. You are meant to see more of yourself through it, not less. Let's explore a deeper layer now. Why do certain people lose themselves easily, while others stay grounded? Part of the answer lies in attachment patterns. People with anxious attachment tend to merge in love because their nervous system fears abandonment. They try to secure the relationship by becoming indispensable. People with avoidant attachment often disappear emotionally to avoid feeling controlled. People with disorganized attachment oscillate between losing themselves and shutting down completely. But no matter your attachment style, the healing path is the same. You need to reconnect with your inner self. You need to know who you are independently of who loves you. There is a moment in every healing journey where you realize that your relationships cannot do the work your inner self is meant to do. No partner can fill the space where your identity should be. No partner can define your dreams. No partner can tell you who you are. They can love you, support you, and walk beside you. But the journey inward is yours alone. Let me give you a moment of gentle humor, because this is heavy stuff. Many people lose themselves so fully in love that they don't even know what to order at a restaurant without checking the other person's choice first. They treat love like a group project where they must get full approval before turning it in. But healing begins the moment you order your own meal, metaphorically and literally. Now let's talk about something deeper. There is a spiritual concept that says every relationship is a mirror of your inner state. When you lose yourself in love, it is often because you are seeking something outside that you haven't yet found inside. You are searching for safety outside yourself. You are searching for belonging outside yourself. You are searching for identity outside yourself. But here is the spiritual truth. What you are searching for is already within you. It is just buried under layers of fear, abandonment, people-pleasing, and identity fusion. The most powerful moment in a person's life is when they realize they can love someone without disappearing into them. It's when they discover that their voice, their dreams, and their identity matter just as much as the relationship. And here comes the most important part of all. You do not lose yourself in love because the other person consumes you. You lose yourself because you disconnect from your own inner center. And the more you rediscover your inner center, the more beautiful your relationships become. You begin loving with clarity instead of fear, with freedom instead of attachment, with presence instead of anxiety. Let me tell you something profound. Love is supposed to expand you, not erase you. Love is supposed to awaken your deeper self, not bury it. Love is supposed to make you more you, not less. If you ever lost yourself in love, it's because you were not taught how to hold yourself while holding someone else. But you can learn. And when you do, everything changes. You become a person who loves deeply without losing boundaries. You become a person who cares without collapsing. You become a person who can be soft without disappearing. You become a person who can choose someone without abandoning yourself. This is healthy attachment. This is emotional wholeness. This is spiritual maturity. And this is the path you are walking right now. If this message resonates with you, remember to subscribe, like, and share the video so it can reach others who are healing too. You're never alone on this journey.